Hey everybody, today I'm going to show you the difference between a French braid and a cornrow. So to start off, I'm going to part the hair down the middle, and then I'm going to separate the right side with a clip. Once I separate the right side, I'm going to separate the top section of the left side into 3 sections in order to start our braid. When doing a French braid, the hair on the outside is crossed over the middle section of the hair. This creates the illusion of the braid sitting underneath the hair rather than on top. So I'm taking the outside right piece of hair and I'm crossing it over the middle piece of hair. Then I'm going to grab the left side outside piece of hair and cross it over the middle and continue this same pattern, alternating from right to left all the way down the head. I recommend working on a detangled head of hair. This will make the braid lay nicer and look a lot neater. When the hair is tangled, it causes snags and pulls in the braid like I have here, but normally I would make sure to use my wet brush or whatever styling comb I have and get all the tangles out. Now you can get creative with the French braid. I wouldn't say you can get as creative as you can with a cornrow or a Dutch braid, but you can definitely get pretty creative. Like you could leave some soft pieces around the face so that it's not all out of your face, or you could only braid halfway down and leave the bottom half of your hair loose or curled. It all depends on what you want. So just continue braiding, alternating right to left, pulling the pieces over the middle until you get all the way to the end, and then you'll do a regular overhanded free hanging braid. I grew up knowing how to cornrow or Dutch braid, but it actually took me a little longer to figure out how to do a French braid. And there you go, that's pretty much it. And you can secure that with a rubber band, but since it's just a tutorial, I'm just gonna clip it to get it out of my way. Now onto my favorite, a cornrow or a Dutch braid. A Dutch braid sits on top of the hair where you can clearly see the ribbing of the braid. You're going to take the outside sections of hair and you're going to cross them underneath the middle section. This way the braid will sit on top of the flat hair. In my opinion, the cornrow is much more versatile than the French braid is. It's easy to make designs, and people even use it when they get extensions done, as well as sew-ins and things of that sort. The cornrow can be pulled a lot tighter and makes for a great foundation for braided styles and extensions that are heavy. As you can see, this braid is clearly more defined and sits on top of the hair, which is the opposite of what the French braid did. My cornrows have always been way neater than my French braids. Now just continue all the way down the head, crossing the hair on the outside underneath the hair on the inside. This will create a very flat foundation and make the braid on top be very visible. With the cornrow braid, you can pancake it and stretch it out to make it look like it's much fuller than it actually is. In order to pancake a braid, you'll braid it all the way down and leave just a little bit of hair at the bottom and add a rubber band. You can start at the top of the braid or at the bottom of the braid, but I personally like to start at the bottom. So I start by fanning out one side of the braid and pulling the section until it just looks a little bit fuller than it was. And once I do one side, I then go ahead and do the other side. I work my way up both sides of the braid and then eventually get to the part that's connected to the scalp. I love pancaking braids for updo styles, wedding styles, prom styles. It really creates a different look than just a regular cornrow. It's really simple and doesn't take long, which is why I love it. It creates a look that looks like it may have taken all day when it took you 5 minutes. Be sure to be gentle when you're tugging the hair and not hurt the person whose hair you're braiding. Alright, there you go. There's a pancaked Dutch or cornrow braid. So I actually went ahead and re-braided the braids off camera just because the angle that I was braiding them at, in order to show you, I couldn't get them as tight as I would like. So here's the updated braids. I braided them all the way down and added rubber bands. On the right side, you still have the pancaked Dutch braid, and on the left side, you have the French braid. This French braid I pulled a lot tighter, and the mannequin's head may have come off a few times, but you get the idea. Which one is your favorite, the French braid or the Dutch braid? Let me know below, and I'll be back in a few with another tutorial.